Hi folks, Shane here with Shane's Premier League Review Show for Match Week 9. I hope you enjoy this week's vlog. Now, on we go with the first game of last week, which took place on Friday night at the London Stadium. West Ham ended up getting hammered by Brighton. This was an abject performance by the Hammers. However, Brighton took full advantage with 2 goals from their wonderful forward, Glenn Murray, in between an absolutely unbelievable strike from Jose Azquiedo, beating Joe Hart with the ball landing in the top corner of the net. West Ham need to improve their league form if Slaven Bilic is to stay in the job for much longer. However, they had a wonderful League Cup win last night at Wembley, coming back from 2-0 down to win the game 3-2 and go into the quarter-finals. Fair play to them, but also fair play to Brighton last Friday night as they got their first league win of the season against a very, very poor West Ham United side on the night. They're really Jekyll and Hyde these days by the looks of things. But that's taken nothing away from Brighton, who were absolutely brilliant on the night. It's good to see them get their first away win, and Shane Duffy had an absolutely fantastic game. The Irishman blocking every shot that came his way. And that's basically it for that game. On to Chelsea and Watford. This was a really entertaining game, folks. Chelsea taking the lead with a wonderful goal from Pedro. The ball rebounded in off both posts, leaving Gomez, the Watford goalkeeper, helpless. It was a great start for Chelsea. However, Watford turned the game on its head either side of half time. The first goal came in added time with a goal from it was either Pereira or Decore. I forget which way around it was, to be honest. But either side of half time they scored 2 goals to give the Hornets a 2-1 lead. This sprang Antonio Conte into a reaction. He brought on Michy Batshuayi. He managed to score twice to help the Blues onto an absolutely fantastic win for them. It was looking bad at a few stages in the game there, folks. Ricardson missed a wonderful chance along with numerous other chances for other Watford forwards. I think Pereira might have had another chance in the game as well. So they were quite unlucky not to get something out of the game. I feel it was an unfair result. However, the other goal scorer for Chelsea was Cesar Azpilicueta with a good header. This stints Watford's good away form. But however, it shouldn't dent their confidence as they played very well on Saturday lunchtime at the Bridge. It was a great 3 points for Chelsea, though, considering the circumstances. Now on to Huddersfield and Manchester United. This was a huge shock. I had this down as one of my certainties for a Manchester United win. It wasn't to be. Huddersfield overturned the form books. Aaron Moy sent the Amex Stadium into, or excuse me, the John Smith Stadium into raptures as Huddersfield took the lead, obviously, and in between that, there was a goal from Laurent Poitras. And towards the end of the game, United managed to grab a goal back from Marcus Rashford with a good goal, but it wasn't to be for Manchester United. It was their first defeat of the season. It was a well-deserved win for Huddersfield. They were the better team on the day, and this tested this tested United's character, and they answered their critics with a good win in midweek in the League Cup. However, if they've any ambitions of winning the league, they need to be beating teams like Huddersfield. No disrespect to them, as it was an absolutely wonderful win for Huddersfield Town. Congratulations to them. Now, on to Manchester City and Burnley. This wasn't as straightforward as you'd think, folks, for Manchester City. Burnley tried really, really hard. City got a fortunate penalty before half-time, which Aguero stuck away, and Leroy Sané and Nicolas Otamendi added to the pain in the second half of the Clarets, despite their best efforts. It's another win for City, and they're now well clear out of the top of the league, and I feel they're in a good position to win it at this stage. My money would be on them, as they're playing some absolutely exquisite football, folks. And if that continues, despite their little blip in midweek, they still won the penalty shootout, by the way. I feel they'll be hard stopped. But fair play to Burnley for putting in a good effort. Now, on to Newcastle and Crystal Palace. This was a hard-fought game by both teams. Crystal Palace had good chances throughout the match. However, Newcastle got a lucky break of fortune from a corner with 5 minutes to go. Marino scoring the winning goal to send St James's Park into raptures of joy, and to keep Newcastle's good start to the season going nice and strongly. Fair play to Rafa Benitez and all his team up there, as they're having a good season. For Crystal Palace, they need to go back to the drawing board once again. They have they've had 2 defeats in a row now, including this one, and in midweek they were beaten well in the cup as well. So they're having a bad season so far, with just the one shock victory over Chelsea. So now, on to Stoke and Bournemouth. This was another shock, I have to say, folks. Bournemouth managed to turn up, and Andrew Zirin scoring the first goal for Bournemouth, and in between that, Junior Stanislas scored to give Bournemouth a shock 2-0 lead, I have to say. Stoke are usually good at home. Mohamed Biram Diouf gave the Potters hope with 25 minutes left on the clock. But I have to say, Bournemouth deserved the victory from what I've seen, and that's basically it. Good win for Bournemouth. I think it was their first away win this season, so that was good for them, obviously. Now, on to Swansea and Leicester. Leicester went into the game without a manager, really. Michael Appleton took charge of the game, and Leicester managed to respond well after the departure of Craig Shakespeare with the 2-1 victory. Fernandez got the scoring underway as he scored an own goal and gave Leicester the lead. Okazaki managed to double the Foxes' lead, and Alfie Morton, I think, got a goal back for Swansea to give them hope, but it wasn't to be. And the Foxes took the 3 points from the Liberty Stadium. It's as simple as that, folks. And since then, Leicester have appointed their new manager, Claude Puel, taking over the reins from Mr. Shakespeare now. So the best of luck to him with that. He'd want to bring instant success by the sound of things. Because, as I said, maybe a few weeks ago at this stage, Leicester have got used to success now, and they don't know how to accept any different. So Claude Puel has his work cut out as he takes charge of the Foxes at the King Power Stadium for the first time against Everton on Sunday. Now, on to a game which flattered to deceive for the most part. Southampton and West Bromwich Albion. Well, there was one moment of brilliance in the game. Buffel picked the ball up in his own half with 5 minutes to go and dribbled down the whole field and stuck the ball into the net, to send St. Mary's wild with delight, as they barely ever see a goal scored at home, folks. But that's 3 in 2 games now in the league. They're getting value for money for the first time in a long time. The goal drought seems to have ended. However, this superb solo effort resulted in 3 points for the Saints and lifted some of the pressure on Maurizio Pellegrino, and left Tony Pulis frustrated not to leave St. Mary's with even a point. On to Sunday's fixtures: Everton and Arsenal. This was a game which proved to be Ronald Koeman's final game in charge of the Toffees. However, Everton managed to take the lead early on in the first half, with a spectacular strike from Wayne Rooney. Nacho Monreal managed to respond a few minutes before half time, along with goals in the second half from Alexander Lacazette, Aaron Ramsey, and Umar Niasse also scored a goal for Everton in between the Arsenal demolition. I cannot think of the rest of the goal scorers at the moment for Arsenal. Sorry folks. It was basically an Arsenal demolition from start to finish. Even before Everton scored the first goal, Arsenal could have been 3 up. So it was a well-deserved win for the Gunners, and it left Arsene Wenger smiling, and Ronald Koeman basically getting the sack from Everton. Harsh and all as it may seem, but they spent an awful lot of money in the summer, and as we all know, folks, as I said in previous weeks, money does the talking. So that's it for that game. Poor old Ronald Koeman and Everton are yet to appoint a new manager. David Unsworth took charge of the Blues in midweek, where they put in a spirited performance at Stamford Bridge, succumbing to a 2-1 defeat at the home of the champions. Okay, and that leaves me with one more game. And, of course, it's Spurs and Liverpool. The game took place at Wembley. It was the final game of the weekend. As a Liverpool supporter, I was so excited to see my team play at Wembley, finally, once again. But oh my goodness me, the excitement was short-lived, folks. The Spurs demolition really happened from start to finish. 4 or 5 minutes into the game, Spurs got a throw in near the corner flag. They took the throw in. All the defenders came towards the ball, and Mignolet came out as well. They all got into a muddle. Harry Kane dived at the ball, Mignolet came running out as well. Harry Kane picked up the ball and just simply placed the ball into the back of the net. It was a shambolic start for Liverpool, and it was to get worse. 10 minutes into the game, Liverpool were on the attack. They crossed the ball into the box. Hugo Lloris caught the ball, and Spurs went on the counter-attack. Lovren was pushed further up the field as the midfielders were on the attack for Liverpool, including a certain Jordan Henderson, who should have been where Lovren was, but he wasn't. Lovren missed the ball. It went over his head, and Harry Kane delivered an absolutely marvellous ball into the box, and Son Heung-min finished the ball into the bottom corner past the helpless Simon Mignolet. This left the Reds with it all to do. They rallied for a certain while. A Harry Kane mistake about 5 or 6 minutes before half time gave the ball to Jordan Henderson. Henderson picked out a wonderful ball to Salah, which Salah managed to finish past a hesitant Hugo Lloris to give the Reds hope. Before half time, disaster struck once again. A free kick next to the corner flag, and the ball was delivered in. I think might have been by Christian Eriksen. Matip tried to header the ball away, and it unfortunately fell to Dele Alli, which again he just finished comfortably into the back of the net. Half time, it was 3-1. In the second half, Liverpool sort of huffed and puffed, but it was nowhere near good enough. They conceded another free kick. The ball was delivered into the box. Another scramble around the box. And, of course, you guessed it, Harry Kane picked up the pieces, and in between that, Coutinho had a couple of half chances for Liverpool. But overall, it was a dismal performance by the Reds at Wembley, and it has to improve this weekend if their league campaign is to get underway at all, folks. You know, it's pretty bad these days as a Liverpool fan. But anyway, I shouldn't be really giving my opinion as it's a neutral Premier League review show. But sure, I was only analysing the performance. There you go. Anyway, that's it for this week's Premier League review show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry I got most my results wrong again. I think I got 3 outcomes right, not the results, obviously. I got 2 of my certainties true, I think, and 1 was wrong. It was obviously the Huddersfield and Manchester United match. Hopefully I'll do better this week. I'll be back with the prediction show shortly. All the best. Take care. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and have a good weekend, folks. All the best. Bye-bye.